And closing out the prelims, we got an absolute banger here between Nasrat Haqparast and Quillan Salkilld. And Haqparast, this guy, man, I'm impressed with this guy. 10-4 in the UFC. He's 30 years old, and he's won 5 fights in a row. I think people kind of shit on this guy unnecessarily because he got in the UFC at 23, 24 years old, and we've seen him kind of have to grow throughout his fight career, but now he's 30 years old. He's looking better than ever, and I think that people kind of hold on to his bad moments, and they don't let the guy evolve. But he's taken on another young up-and-comer here in Quillan Salkilld, who's 2-0 in the UFC. He's taking this fight on short notice, and big step up for him here. He's taking on a veteran on a roll, a guy that has as many wins in the UFC as Salkilld has fights total in his fight career, and it's a very, very interesting fight. He won his last fight. Haqparast is a major underdog. He fought another one of these young up-and-coming guys in Esteban Ribovics. So if he can get another upset here and beat another highly touted prospect, I think he's going to be undeniable in terms of getting a ranked opponent. And it wasn't originally going to be Salkilld that Nasrat was going to fight. He said that he had multiple other opponents that pulled out, and I don't know if they got announced. Like, I'm not sure who he was going to fight. Maybe it was a bigger fight, maybe it wasn't, but he's been getting ready to fight on this day. He's accepted everyone they've given him, and Salkilld is coming in here, I believe, on a little bit shorter notice, but he's rattled off 9 wins in a row, Salkilld, since losing his pro debut. He became arguably the best lightweight in Australia, came over, got a win over Gage Young, who's now in the UFC, and then he got a KO over Andrew Jubilee, got a win over Yanel Shmoosh, so 2-0 in the UFC, and the UFC clearly likes him, as this is his 3rd consecutive time fighting on a pay-per-view card. Big step up for Salkilld, as he's going to be taking on a legit credentialed UFC fighter with a ton of experience and kind of going into enemy territory here, taking on a Muslim in Abu Dhabi. But Haqparast has more UFC fights than Salkilld has total fights, and all his opponents until now have not been very experienced. So this is the first time he's fighting someone with more than 10 fights, and it looks as if Salkild's ready to take this leap, but you don't know until you get in there with somebody. But Quillan, he's at his best when he could take top position. On the feet, he's tall, he's long, he'll throw a lot of kicks. Good job of lead leg round kicks to the body, good front kicks. He has a pretty good left hook, straight right. He'll throw body punches as well effectively. His hands are getting better. You could tell he's putting his combinations together. And he likes to be all the way in or all the way out, though. He doesn't really like to be in the pocket too much. And he uses length to beat you up from the outside, punches away into the takedown. If you pressure him, he'll clinch you, put you on the fence, and pretty durable guy as well. But he did get hurt in his last fight in the 3rd round, and I've seen him rocked on the feet a few times. But he's also not the best with his defense, and I think that's the one area where he could improve on. But he's a strong guy. He could normally be pretty dominant in the wrestling department. He can get takedowns through the clinch or shooting. Usually he gets guys down against the cage, and he can be a little sloppy with his wrestling, but he's good at, even if he ends up in a bad position, keeping the scramble going, eventually getting to his spots, and he's good at getting in the back, and from there he can just work you over with short ground and pound, mat returns, wear you down, eventually finish you. And the way he blends his takedowns and stand-up is pretty solid. His last fight, he fought a guy who was able to pressure into him, be dangerous in the stand-up, have a good scramble ability. And Salkilld dominated the first 2 rounds. He got a lot of takedowns, but 3rd round, the gas tank was on E. He got rocked. He got sprawled out a few times. He couldn't get the takedown and kind of got beat up on the feet, but he survived and won that 29-28. So I think he may look to come in with different tactics versus Nasrat. He has to know that it's going to be not that easy to take down Nasrat, and he's going to have to probably use his kicks and believe in his striking, land some big punches to eventually get the takedown, suck Nasrat into that vortex and drown him. Nasrat, he was 13 for 13 on defending takedowns versus Jared Gordon. He hasn't been taken down since 2021. To be fair, he hasn't fought many wrestlers in general, and Dan Hooker, of all people, was the last fighter to take Nasrat down. Took him down 3 times, but having said that, I think Salkilld knows he can't just shoot a bunch of takedowns here and waste his energy. He has to believe in his stand-up, use that to set up his takedown, and show that he can, fight anywhere with the top guys in the world. But Nasrat Haqparast, he likely feels disrespected by this matchup. He's a fighter who's put the work in, had his setbacks. Now he's on a 5-fight winning streak. He just sent back a young up-and-coming prospect in his last fight, and now he's getting another one here. And I'm sure Nasrat feels if he's going to get a ranked opponent, then he can beat anyone across from him, and that's what he's thinking here. So he's going to defend that spot one more time and then hopefully get his pay dirt. But he's been training for this date for a while here. Like I said, he had multiple opponents, and I think he's going to be sharp. He's going to be ready to go. He's had Eamon Zahabi in the gym with him getting ready and some other pretty solid guys. That TriStar gym has some good motion right now from that UFC Canada card. So that I think he's going to have had a good training camp here. And obviously, accepting any opponent that they throw at him, he's locked in, he's ready to go. And he's a southpaw, really good pot shot ability, lateral footwork, pull fighters into the clean left hands. He'll use his jab to close the distance for the left hand. He'll double, triple up on it. He attacks the head, the body. He'll throw nice uppercuts. His kicking game isn't as developed, but nice left teep to the body. And his hands are just really nice, crispy. He's a level above Salkilld in the boxing. And in this fight, he should have a lot cleaner stand-up. I feel like he's the better mover. I think that his boxing is much better. I wasn't blown away by Salkilld on the feet. He has to go kick heavy. I feel try to get Nasrat backing up hands high, time to level change. But I don't think that it's going to be that easy to take Nasrat down. And he's coming in on not much notice. He got tired his last fight. So I think Nasrat's going to have to be more aggressive, close the distance with his jabs, land, make Quillan kind of a little bit flustered by forcing him into some exchanges and then pulling him into power. And Quillan, I feel he has to be really looking to make it a brawl and then getting the takedowns. And Nasrat showed really good balance takedown defense versus Jared Gordon. Gordon had his leg way up in the air on a couple single legs, and Nasrat was able to balance, defend, keep it standing. And I think to take Nasrat down, you can't do it how Gordon was doing, which was shooting to drive Haqparast to the cage, work the takedown from there. Haqparast has great cage wrestling, so you have to time the takedown in the middle of the octagon or maybe take his back on the cage and just control him there and not just try to take him down on the legs. But if Nasrat does get taken down, I do think it could snowball and be bad for him. So he just has to be very, very cognizant that he cannot let himself go to his back here in this fight at any time. And, you could argue this might be a step down from Espan Ribovics, but it's a guy that has a more well-rounded skill set. I think this is a fight where people will overvalue Salkilld, though. And if he could step up and win this, he could be a contender in short order. But Nasrat should win this fight. He's in the prime of his career. He's looking the best he's ever looked. Full camp. He's hungry to break through to that next level. He's only 30 years old. And I think it's most likely do or die for him here. Whereas Salkilld could maybe just be happy to be there. So Nasrat via decision is the pick. But I could even see him getting a knockout, man. And I'm going to go with Haqparast here to give this young kid, Quillan Salkilld, a vet lesson.